It's Monday, May 22nd, 2023. Before we start today, make sure to like the video, make sure to share this video, and make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell notification down below so that you are alerted when the newest videos drop. But I want to get right into it today. A few things that I noted, a few things I printed out, I want to share with all of you. And of course, comment down below on anything you want to comment about. But I want to start with this. I was watching a video last night on YouTube. It was a video, it came out about 2 weeks ago from the Dave Ramsey show. And a caller called Dave Ramsey up and asked about investing in gold. Dave literally laughed about it, said it's a terrible investment, it's a pet rock, you need to be buying mutual funds. Now, remember, Dave a few months ago said it's a great time to buy a house. And now he continues to tell people that gold is a terrible investment. It's not really a hedge against inflation. It's not wealth protection. It's just a pet rock. And I was just looking at some of the data today. The average 20-year return on a mutual fund, 4.67%. The average 20-year return on gold was 8.65%. I looked at some other data. I saw mutual funds from 20 years ago to today up 335%. Gold from 20 years ago to today is up 433.65%. If you bought gold 5 years ago, you're up 53.07%. The great thing about gold, physical gold, is it's unhackable, untrackable, which is also very nice. If you want to leave it to your kids, nobody knows. Nobody knows where it's at. Nobody knows how much you have. And of course, you know, when you cash in mutual funds, I'm sure there's a fee and a cost to all this and taxes and whatnot. Comment down below, what do you think about this? I just find it amazing that, you know, Dave said a couple months ago it was a great time to buy a house. And here he continues saying that it's just an awful investment. It's an awful wealth protection buying gold because it's just a pet rock and you're just going to lose your money. But yet if you bought gold 20 years ago, you're up 433.65%. And you can access your gold probably within seconds or minutes. It's physical. It's a hard tangible asset. And I just don't understand why Dave does this. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this. I know that he's you know, heavily invested in the stock market, in the real estate market, but I was looking at the U.S. debt clock today, and all of you should look at it. You should all look at the U.S. debt clock. Just Google it. And if you look at the debt clock, this is why I hold gold. I don't think there's a better reason to hold gold than all you have to do is look at the U.S. debt clock. Again, this is why I hold gold. We are approaching $32 trillion of national debt. The system is melting down. Debt per citizen, $94.9 thousand. Okay, and all these numbers here I pretty much rounded off, but debt per citizen is $94.9 thousand, almost $95,000. Debt per taxpayer, $248,000. U.S. workforce in 2000, we had 160.373 million people. So a little over 160 million people in the workforce in 2000. Today, we have 894 million people in the workforce. So we only picked up 1.9 million over the last 23 years. Official, it says here, official unemployed 5.7 million, actual unemployed 11.2 million. Median income in 2000 was 31.8 thousand. Median income today, 35.8 thousand. So in 23 years, the median income only went up about $5,000. Median new home in 2000 was $164,000. The median new home today is $449,000. How many people do we have living in poverty? 42.7 million people in the U.S. in the United States live in poverty. How about people living without insurance? 27.1 million people living without insurance in America. Think about all the money we're sending all over the world, what that money would do right here for people. Creating jobs, helping the healthcare system, the education system, the infrastructure, it goes on and on and on. U.S. manufacturing jobs in 2000, we had 17.2 million manufacturing jobs in 2000. Today, we have 13.1. So we've lost 4 more million jobs in manufacturing just in 23 years. 4 million manufacturing jobs gone. That's incredible. U.S. trade deficit, $1.15 trillion. Trade deficit with China, $353 billion. But as a whole, the entire trade deficit in America, $1.15 trillion, and the trade deficit just with China, $353 billion. U.S. unfunded liabilities, $187.7 trillion. So if you take the national debt and the unfunded liabilities, we have over $200 trillion of debt here in America that can never be paid back. This is why I hold gold. This is completely unsustainable. We are getting very, very close to a massive reckoning taking place. This is why I hold gold. This is why I tell people in my circle they should be holding gold. You should be very diverse, but you have to have gold and silver in your portfolio right now. I think, you know, I like Dave Ramsey. I think he makes a lot of sense with paying off debt and things like that, but he's completely wrong that this is a good time to buy a house. He's completely wrong that gold is just a pet rock. He is completely wrong, and he's going to be proven wrong like he's been proven wrong already. 30-year mortgage rates approaching 7% again. Housing will suffer this on the hedge today. Housing weakness is going to get much weaker, ladies and gentlemen. I checked bankrate.com today, 30-year fixed mortgage, 7.04%. Existing home sales have declined 14 times in the last 15 months. Prices haven't crashed yet, but transactions have, and it's just a matter of time. Expect interest rates to stay higher for longer. The Fed must keep rates higher now for longer because they are worried about stoking more inflation. If they let off the gas pedal now, they're very worried what could happen. So I believe that we're going to see more rate hikes, and these rates are going to stay higher than much longer than people anticipated. Will we get a rate hike in June? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. It's very possible. I say it's 50-50 right now, but not to say that we couldn't get one in July. We're going to get, I think, 2 more rate hikes this year. Home sales mean appliance sales, new furniture, cabinets, new carpeting, landscaping, pools, all that. These sales now are plunging. So think about how many jobs are related to the housing market and how many sales are related that are related to the housing market. People that sell appliances and carpeting and tile and lumber, talk about transport. You know, somebody's got to transport all these appliances and material. So you have less transport means less truck drivers working, less sales at the Home Depots, less homes being sold. So we're going to continue to watch the mortgage industry completely fall off a cliff here. Real estate agents, appraisers, lenders, everything in between. It's all connected, and we're going to see big problems here. If you're in a job that is related to the housing market, I hope you saved a lot of money because this thing is about to really get dicey. The hedge today. China dominates the world's biggest steel producers. China now makes more than half the world's steel production. Steel, it says here, is a critical component essential for the construction of buildings, automobiles, and many other appliances and infrastructure used in our daily lives. China produces 1 billion tons of steel per year. The U.S. produced 80.5 million tons of steel, not even close to what China is doing. How can we be the world superpower when 70% of our GDP is based on consumption, money that the consumer doesn't even have? And we look at a country like China that is producing over half the world's steel. It is building massive cities. It is going around the world mining minerals. It is unbelievable what China is doing right now, yet we call ourselves the biggest economy. We're the biggest debtor nation on planet Earth. We're not making anything. We're not producing anything. China is doing it all. It's got the 4 biggest banks in the world, the biggest military in the world. It holds the most physical gold in the world. 20,000 tons. The government holds 18,000 tons the Chinese citizen holds. So that's 38,000 tons of gold that China holds in physical gold. And we think that we're going to be the world reserve currency down the road. We think we're going to be the world dominant superpower down the road. Absolutely not. I hate to say that, but the writing is on the wall, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to look very far to see what is going on. And we're spending money hand over fist. Yes, China has debt. China has built massive cities, but at least they have something to show for their money. What do we have to show? We have a homeless epidemic. We have infrastructure crumbling everywhere. Our school system is in shambles. Our economy is in shambles. Over $200 trillion in debt if you include unfunded liabilities. Our jobs are gone. Our military is weakening. Our society, our morality is just crumbling right before our very eyes. The hedge today. Guess which nations produce the world's most honey? And I won't go down the list, but I'll tell you the #1 nation by far. The biggest producer of honey in the world, China. Yes, China. It's not even close. Second biggest producer was Canada, and they weren't even close to what China was doing. Washington Post, seniors are flooding homeless shelters that cannot care for them. Nearly 250,000 people 55 or older are estimated by the government to have been homeless in the U.S. during 2019. That number is higher today in 2023. This is the fastest growing group of people who are homeless, said Margaret Kushel, a professor of medicine and a vulnerable people researcher at the University of California at San Francisco. People 55 and older represent 16.5% of Americans' homeless population, and that population back in 2019 was 1.45 million, almost 1.5 million. You know that number is much higher now. The AP, what it would mean for the global economy if the U.S. defaults on its debt. It means this: no corner of the global economy will be spared if the U.S. government defaulted and the crisis weren't resolved quickly. If the debt limit were breached for no more than a week, the U.S. economy would weaken so fast it would wipe out 1.5 million jobs in a week. If the government default were not, if the government default were to last much longer, such as going into the summer, the consequences would be far dire. Here's what it says. If this default went into the summer, 7.8 million jobs would vanish, borrowing rates would jump, unemployment would soar, stock market would plunge, taking $10 trillion of household wealth with it. The trustworthiness of the U.S. treasuries would be obsolete. It would be seriously impaired, and that would be a problem. And the big problem here is, no matter what happens with the debt ceiling, we have a debt crisis taking place. And more than likely, the debt crisis will be resolved. And what it means is we're going to print more money. Look, I don't know if it's going to be resolved or not. I would say that it is going to be. But in order to do that, we're going to print a lot more money. And that's going to cause more inflation, devalue the dollar. And the problem here is that the dollar continues to be impaired like it is. We're going to have big trouble. We're going to see more competition from other currencies, especially the Chinese yuan. I don't think the dollar is going to collapse tomorrow. I don't think it's going to collapse next year. It may never collapse, but it is going to be very weakened. And we're going to see another, maybe more than one, dominant world currency reserves rise up. And China is going to be one of them. And it is going to change the standard of living for a majority of this country. And this, again, another reason why I hold gold, while my friends hold gold, people in my circle hold gold, because we are preparing for this new world that is taking place. The weaponization of the dollar is coming to an end. The world doesn't want it any longer. The world wants sound money. They want real money. And they're going to go back to simplicity. They're going to back currencies or a major currency with gold. Partially, now I don't think the whole currency will be backed by gold, but maybe 25–30% of that currency or currencies will be backed by gold. And countries are going to run to it. They cannot wait to get rid of US dollars because of the weaponization and the chance that if they do something that the US doesn't like, they're going to be in trouble, because we'll just weaponize the dollar, say we're not accepting your dollars or we're cutting you off, and they're done. So countries don't like that. and they're going to look at other options where they have more freedom and they're not walking on eggshells with everything they do, that if they don't agree with a certain country, they're going to be cut off. And gold allows that freedom. And I think we're going to go back to the simplicity of gold. And remember, America took the world off the gold standard, and now the rest of the world is looking at gold, and they're going to force America back onto the gold standard, I believe. And whether America likes it or not, America cannot fight the entire world. America thinks it's much more powerful than it really is. The world sees America as being very, very weak right now, without a doubt. And China sees it, the rest of the world sees it, and they're looking for leadership. And I think that that leadership is not going to be America for much longer. And it really hurts me to say that, but that's just the way it is. Look at the direction where we're heading. Here's another one from the hedge. The middle class is being systematically destroyed. I went to the grocery store today. I looked at a little bowl of sliced watermelon. It was $5. I do not see prices coming down. The average home cost is up $93,000 compared to 2020. The economic rewards are being funneled to the very few people at the top, the 0.0001%, the top of the food chain, while poverty is spreading like wildfire here in America, ladies and gentlemen. And so I see, unfortunately, and it really hurts me to say this, but I see a country that is just weakening. It is shattered morally, spiritually, physically, and economically. And without producing, like China, producing producing honey, producing all that steel, the plastics, the aluminums, everything that's in a Walmart, the clothing, the shoes, rubber, you name it, China's producing it. They're going around the world, mining half the world now, lithium, cobalt, gold, silver. They're huge, huge purchasers of oil. And these deals are cutting with Russia, and deals that they're cutting with Saudi Arabia. Deals are cutting with Brazil, Mexico. It just goes on and on and on. And it really concerns me about how much longer we really have as a world superpower, because, you know, again, it goes back to the Wizard of Oz, when that little person was behind the curtain just pulling the chains and the strings and pushing the buttons and turning the knobs. And we look like this big, powerful wizard, but it's all based on nothing. We're not producing anything. We're just consuming with this fake money. And we're taking this fake money and we're buying products all over the world where people actually are physically producing it, and we're just printing money and giving it to them. And I think the world resents that. And so there's a huge change coming to the world. And again, to Dave Ramsey, I don't think mutual funds are going to save you. I don't think this is the right time to buy a house. I think this is the time to be extremely defensive, stack cash, stack metals, and get rid of debt as fast as you can. Things are really changing, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I do believe we're gonna get some resolution to the debt ceiling, and I'm sure the market's gonna get a quick sugar rush and go up for a week or two, and then we're gonna be right back where we started. And people are gonna realize that their standard of living is not improving, that their bank accounts aren't getting bigger, that the prices at the store aren't getting lower. In fact, it's all going up while your pocketbook and your bank account continues to shrink. So I'm going to leave it there. Comment down below. I don't want to sit here and rant all day about this, but just some concerns that I have. And what do you think? Are you buying mutual funds? Are you buying gold? Are you buying silver? What are you buying right now? What if you had $10,000? Let me ask all of you this right here. It could be $1,000, $10,000, whatever it might be, $100,000. Where would you put the money right now? What are you investing in right now? How are you protecting your wealth right now? Are you throwing it into the market? You think that the market's on sale right now? You think it's mutual funds? Is it gold? Is it silver? Is it uranium? Is it oil stocks? What is it? Comment down below. Love to know your thoughts on that. And until tomorrow, have a great evening. God bless all of you. And I look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon.